The greatest wealth of any citizen is its children. Whatever endeavor made for the welfare of the child amounts to a meaningful contribution made for the existence and development of the nation. Therefore, it's the responsibility and duty of every citizen living in this world to strive to discharge one's duties and responsibilities properly to safeguard the rights of the child. Teaching in a suitable manner is good for the mental growth and development of the student. It helps highlight the student's skill instead of attempting to force knowledge upon them, and it's taught in a simple manner that's easy for the student to comprehend. If the teacher really understands one pupils and works with them, children's rights will be safeguarded. You already realize that if a teacher's domination and control has a frustrating effect upon the student, such students will face a difficult future. Although the student's behavior should be controlled, it shouldn't be frustrating. It should be explained to the student why he or she should conform to a particular rule. Strict control generates fear and anger in the student's mind, and you can't control a student always. Since students have been controlled, can't be taught the importance of self discipline, it should be impressed upon them while they are in the process of studying. Punishment occupies a special place in the teacher's role related to children's rights. In recent times, school related punishment turned both uncivilized and unpleasant. And since the teacher is considered the agent of protection for child rights, it's meaningful that the nature of punishment is investigated. So the punishment should be employed for purpose of socializing as well as well-being. But this is only for the short-term benefits. So the certain amount of punishment used for purpose of maintaining discipline, but it shouldn't be cruel. It's possible for teachers to use strategies like not to be cruel. So if every teacher is generating trust and faith, that's increased the teacher's success. It can only be strengthened through the flexibility of communication, sensitivity, and behavior. A sense of confidence is developed in the student when he or she begins to feel if the teacher is helpful to him or her and provides him or her with security. Students voluntarily affect teacher advice and control when they begin to feel that their teacher has understood them well, listens to them patiently, and is quite concerned about them. One thing you must keep in mind is that every student likes to be appreciated. You may even be able to observe that much change can be brought by student behavior, what should be done, preventing which shouldn't be done, and ignoring unnecessary behavior and praising appropriate behavior. When referring to child rights, two parties are equally important for parents and teachers. Apart from the blood relationship of parents, teacher has the responsibility equal to that of teachers with respect to the child. The strong relationship can no means underestimated. What this expression implies is that the teacher has a large number of responsibilities with regard to his or her pupils, as the case with parents. To face the responsibilities, mustn't be forgotten that the teacher has many rights with parents as regard to the child. The nature of these legal rights and responsibilities of teachers can be seen in some court cases. These verdicts show that attention equal to the attention paid by the father to his child, looking after him or her, should be shown in looking after ends by the teacher, should be more serious than the attention paid by the teachers to their children. The reason for this that the school has special knowledge that parents don't possess or are incapable of acquiring. That's almost no definition similar to these verdicts for the purpose of analyzing. So the responses dealt upon the teachers in shaping the future of the child is so powerful as exceeding the responsibility of parents. The child who grows up from under the bird's caring vigilance is entrusted to school learning at the scheduled age along with the responsibility of looking after the child. Here children expect from teachers with some emotional help that they receive from their parents. Therefore, it shouldn't be forgotten that there is a moral duty as well as legal binding upon the teacher. There's a need to investigate and clarify the ideas of the judiciary regarding problems related to nature and limitations of the legal duties upon the school principals on the return to vigilant. It is pointed out that the school is responsible for the safety of students in the school premises before school starts, during the school interval, and after the school closes. First of all, let's discuss the situation before school starts and after school closes. In Sri Lanka, The schools typically start at 7:30 in the morning and close at 1:30 in the afternoon, but still students remain at school long before school starts and long after school closes for various reasons. Often, students come early to school for various practices because the school van or school bus have to drop their children at school on their way to work. Students often remain in school after school hours for purpose of extracurricular activities such as sports and games practices, Easter stick activities, or tuition classes. In such instances, there should be rules and regulations regarding behavior that students should confirm when they remain at school before and after school hours. The reason being that school regulation and culture not restricted to school hours. So it's the responsibility of school authorities to appoint a teacher or other individual connected to the school to supervise student affairs. The absence of an individual in authority to deal with instances of clashes or indiscipline, an accident, or a sudden illness will leave the school exposed to the charge of neglect and dereliction of duties with regard to students. When the safety of students during the school interval is considered, one thing has to be accepted even unwillingly is that the short period of time of the teachers ignore students. But there is a program for the protection of students. Most of the accidents occur when they are free. Therefore, the law emphasizes that the school has to shoulder the responsibility which happens to a student during the school. Since the school interval is the time when the least contribution is made by teachers, this is an indirect reference how your role should be in the school. The reasons for this being the proliferation of CDPs, or like pornographic medicines, CDs, as blue films take place between students during the interval. Students can be seen going to the neighboring boutique during the interval in schools without parapet walls, going to video halls or loitering in the streets because of this lack of vigilance or in this regard. According to the analyzed edition of these court cases, the school has to be vigilant to provide the maximum security to students, not only in the stadium, but in all the locations within the school premises. Should this position be substituted in our country? It's sad to say that in most locations within the school premises, whether it's the stadium or elsewhere, the security of students has failed to ensure. Other than that of national schools and prestigious schools, the physical environment contains only limited resources. Some schools don't even have a playground. In such instances, the school authorities have to take their students to other places. However much the teachers have to safeguard their students in such places, the teacher is incapable of bringing their influence to bear upon certain factors in the external environment, such as zebra crossings, unprotected wells, or pits. Similarly, in certain schools, while new buildings are coming up, part completed classrooms or where a single floor can be seen, but the students were not warned against entering these structures. But the consequent utilization of these structures by students in their free time for sports and games amounts to absolute disregard of the law by the administration of the school, and as such is an offense in law. It might be considered disregard for one's legal obligations. Yet, the judiciary has emphasized that teachers can't be held responsible for the harm suffered by the students in circumstances where the students have been provided due protection while in the care of their teachers. When a student was drowned during an education tour, the parents went to court, accusing the teachers and the principals of negligence and action. But the court accepted that this accident didn't occur due to the negligence or lack of vigilance on part of the teachers and the school principal. Since the students have been warned against accidents that were likely to happen, remedial measures to be adopted for the protection of life, and that the protection of one's life was the responsibility of the students by the school authorities, and as such, there was no negligence for the legal environment or vigilance of the student. You may have acquired some conception of the rights of the teachers as well as his or her legal duties and responsibilities in safeguarding the rights of the child through the pursuit of this session. According to this, what you should comprehend is that apart from the learning and teaching process, your responsibilities diverge across quite a wide range. You may now have realized that protection of the rights of the student is an outstanding quality of a teacher.